Good morning. Thank you for being with us on THV 11 and streaming on THV 11 Plus. I'm Karen Fuller.
I'm Hayden Balgavy. Happy Friday, everybody. Meteorologist Tracy Bean is here breaking down the forecast as we get you set for the weekend. And some rumbles of thunder when I was feeding the dogs about 2:30 this morning.
I kind of joked earlier that it was fantastic for the rain, horrible for my forecasting. I'll admit it, but I'm happy because we needed that rain. We saw a lot more of that in the northern half of the state. It made its way here. We did expect a little bit, but it kind of kept on going. As Nathan would say, it packed a punch. So we're starting out this morning, though. It cooled our morning. It made it really nice out there. I feel like the city is glowing. A little first light there, the lights, and starting to see a little daybreak. Temperatures are fantastic. We are right around 74, and I know that says humidity around 91%, but the winds are certainly making it feel very, very nice out there. Now we are going to heat up, and we're also going to see a few storms as we're heading into the afternoon. This is what we saw as far as those rain totals the last 12 hours. Really, again, northern half, northwest half, I should say, and then off to the west of the metro. So certainly loving that. We're still watching, again, these storms right around Paris, and they were more in that severe parameter as we were starting the show, right before it anyway, this morning, but really dissipating out there. And we're still seeing a little lightning, and so you may deal with that a little bit as you're heading out the door this morning. But here in central Arkansas, everything that came through around 3:30 has dissipated, but it did leave those temperatures feeling really nice out there. But this is what we're expecting between today and tomorrow. Now we will see some pop-up storms as we're heading into the peak heat of the afternoon, and another round pushing through with that boundary later tonight in the overnight hours, and maybe a little lingering Saturday morning. But we'll time all of that out for you so you can make all those weekend plans coming up.
The countdown to Election Day is on. As candidates make their final push for votes, election officials are working to keep the process safe, secure, and ready. In Saline County, 2 weeks of candidate filings have now wrapped up. With fewer than 90 days to go, election leaders are finalizing ballots, updating election websites, and focusing on training poll workers to help Election Day run smoothly.
I always tell people poll workers are the backbone of our elections. If we don't have good poll workers, if we don't have good election officials, then we don't have good elections. Doesn't matter what other things we have in place.
A reminder to check in with your county clerk for all election-related questions, or simply visit the Secretary of State's website.
Developing this morning, President Trump is rolling out new executive orders aimed at limiting birthright citizenship, including a ban on so-called birth tourism.
This move comes just 5 weeks after the Supreme Court ruled that anyone born on U.S. soil is a U.S. citizen. CBS News correspondent Carissa Lawson has more from Washington.
Unfortunately, we had a bad decision.
Just over a month after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down President Trump's attempt to limit birthright citizenship, the president is taking another shot at it.
We're making adjustments because it's very unfair.
He signed new executive orders that aim to restrict birthright citizenship for certain categories of people, like children of foreign government employees, including ambassadors, children of anyone considered an alien enemy of the United States, and babies of foreign nationals on a visa for the purposes of giving birth on American soil, a practice known as birth tourism.
Birth tourism is by definition a fraud on the American system, on the American taxpayer, on the American visa.
Back in late June, the High Court upheld in a 6-3 decision that the 14th Amendment means everyone born in the United States is an American citizen at birth, regardless of their parents' immigration status.
I think these are ripe for a legal challenge. I think there are portions of the executive orders that, if they are read narrowly, might withstand review.
The American Civil Liberties Union condemned the new orders and predicted they would fail in court, writing in a statement, any executive order that tries to rewrite birthright citizenship will meet the same fate as the last one. Carissa Lawson, CBS News, New York.
The League of United Latin American Citizens says it is also pushing back against the new orders.
In a statement, LULAC called them an attempt to violate the constitutional rights guaranteed to Americans. And that is not the only high-profile legal fight playing out in Washington this morning. A Senate committee has voted to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress after he repeatedly invoked the Fifth Amendment during last week's hearing on the federal government's COVID response. Committee Chair Rand Paul now wants to send the referrals straight to the Justice Department, skipping a full Senate vote if Vice President J.D. Vance signs off. The Justice Department would then decide whether to pursue contempt charges, a move legal experts say would likely spark a lengthy court fight.
Time now 6:05. Arkansas has a new Teacher of the Year. State leaders honored this educator Thursday during the annual Teacher of the Year ceremony. The honoree will spend the next year representing educators in classrooms across the natural state. Governor Sanders recognized Stephanie Williams at the ceremony. The governor says the success of Arkansas schools relies on both education policy and the teachers who bring it to life. Sanders also pointed to teacher pay increases, paid maternity leave, and millions in merit bonuses for key supports for educators.
They don't care about a big job title. They don't care what you do or who you know. They care about who shows up for them each and every day. And that's exactly why this event and why each of you are so incredibly important to our state and to these kids.
Williams will serve as Arkansas Teacher of the Year for the next year, advocating for educators and students all across the state. And Arkansans who have oil or gas on their land might now be able to get a little more money from energy companies.
It is all thanks to a recent court ruling, and this morning, THV 11's Carter Thweet breaks down what you need to know and why people are now celebrating.
Conway resident Mike Norman has leased his land to energy companies for years.
I've dealt with British Petroleum, I've dealt with XTO, I've dealt with Merit, I've dealt with BHP.
They pay him to harvest his minerals, but one company rubs Norman and a lot of other people the wrong way.
That all came tumbling down when Flywheel started accumulating those mineral rights in that area.
Flywheel Energy started to pay landowners less, arguing they could deduct some production costs before calculating the payouts. Officials and residents of north central Arkansas, where the practice is popular, disagreed and a lawsuit ensued.
We have fought for the property owner, the owner of those mineral leases. You are going to get paid what your lease states you should be paid.
Earlier this week, the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in their favor. They said that a recent law, Arkansas Act 1024, clarifies what was always the case. Royalties should be paid without removing production costs.
That's what makes this even more special, because now that money's coming back to Arkansas, to the people who own the minerals.
Flywheel Energy could not be reached for comment Thursday. Landowners like Norman hope that this is the start of Arkansans being paid what they believe they're due.
And I think that what the ruling is going to do is hold Flywheel accountable.
It does clear the way for the possibility of a class action suit for everyone that's similarly situated to get it resolved.
In Conway County, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
Carter, thank you. As for how much money Arkansans could receive from the lawsuit, officials say that number is still unclear, but they do confirm the courts are holding about $6 million from 2025 alone, while the deductions in question have been happening since 2019. Meanwhile, the Senate Agriculture Committee is putting the Farm Bill on hold after lawmakers failed to reach a deal over future SNAP costs. Now, Republicans and Democrats remain divided over whether to delay a requirement that could force some states to help pay for food assistance if their programs have high error rates. The bill included a one-year extension as a compromise from Arkansas Senator John Bozeman, but Democrats wanted a longer delay. The committee vote failed, leaving the long-delayed Farm Bill still without a path forward.
And let's go back now to meteorologist Tracy Bean watching the forecast and the traffic as well.
Yeah, so this morning traffic's doing great. You know, yesterday was a bit of a mess. So we're going to keep an eye on it and our fingers crossed as well. Drive safe. But we're seeing a little first light. We've got a little cloud cover out there as well. We had some showers roll through about 3:30 in the morning. Still watching a couple of areas around the River Valley. Nothing severe at this time and no rain in central Arkansas. We're starting out a bit nice as well. We've got temperatures right around 74. Now we're starting to warm up. That that rain that came through did cool us down quite nicely, and it feels pretty good with that wind around 7 miles per hour. And now today, hour by hour, we're going to start to see more of those storms pop up as we're heading into that peak heat of the afternoon. We do have a heat advisory, so along with a few of those storms, we're going to have to watch out for that heat as well. And then as we're heading into the evening, we're going to start to see those rain chances really pick up as a boundary moves through. And we could start out your Saturday with maybe just a little bit of rain, but overall it should be a pretty good afternoon. Maybe a little pop-up storm as we're heading into, again, the peak heat of the day.